Is it counting your steps?
I think so. Yeah, 2 minutes of activity. That's just this right here. Boom. It's accurate. Let's go, 2 more. I think it tracks steps accurately. I think Garmin's really known for this. Hello! Today I am reviewing the Garmin Bounce, the smartwatch for kids. Here it is. Ba-ping! Ba-ping, 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 bing, 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 bing. Why are we reviewing this thing? We previously reviewed the GeoBit and AngelSense for tracking your kid. And then we got an ad for the Garmin Bounce. So I think they're trying to creep in to the kid tracking space, but kind of selling it as like a smartwatch / pedometer. Well, we checked that out. We spent the $150 to see if your kid is gonna like this. You know what else your kid might like? A Goalie tablet. If your kid doesn't need a web browser, doesn't need YouTube, doesn't need a whole lot of toxic junk, but they do need a device for learning, a little bit of entertainment, you should check out Goalie at getgoalie.com. Unboxing this thing is pretty straightforward. It's a little compact box. Inside, it's got the watch, it's got the band already attached, it's got a little instruction manual with a QR code to their parent app, and then a charging cable. First impressions, I really like the material here. I think these guys did a great job. I don't know if Fitbit is quite as good as this. You can see I wear a Whoop for adults, and it's not quite as smooth and silky as this thing is. I feel like it'll also last. Like, I don't think that this is gonna crumble or fall apart. I think they did some good research, and Garmin obviously makes like hardcore endurance smartwatches for trainers. Garmin is really known for their watches for runners, marathoners, like really serious training people. So it's no surprise to me that this thing just feels sturdy. I don't think your kid's gonna destroy this. Before we go into the details of the watch itself, let's talk about what they're selling this for. So if you get the LTE connection, that means if you basically buy a SIM card or a data plan, you can get two-way texting, two-way calls. What does that mean? It means from their parent app, you can contact your kid on their device. But that's it. You can't call anyone else. They can't really call anyone else. They say that you could put up to 20 contacts in here. It's kind of rough. I don't think they would actually call anybody else. Next thing they say is you can do GPS tracking. Again, that only works if you're paying the extra $10 a month for the data plan. You can kind of think of this like a really dumb phone for kids that has some really basic messaging communication capability, but it's really sold as a watch. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, if you are looking for a kid tracking device, this just won't be as good as the devices designed specifically for that. Seems like here it's a secondary purpose. The first purpose is to be a smartwatch, sort of pedometer, not really a communications device or a tracking device. This is the parent app. So you can see it's got activity. You could see the day that I wore it a lot, all day basically. I did a lot of activity that day. You can start to put in chores. And you know, like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of nice if your kid needs a light reminder. You can input an alarm clock so it'll vibrate for them to wake up and track their sleep. I think that's a nice feature, but your kid has to sleep in it. We've got the pedometer, we saw that earlier, some rewards. They've got some challenges. This to me feels like an adult challenge, and it's a little bit weird because I think these apps are supposed to be like your accountability buddy. They're supposed to help you stay motivated on track. But if the app exists on the parent's phone and the kid doesn't have a phone, I kind of wonder, like, how effective is this really? Okay, so it's got these games on here, but it's not really a game. It's kind of like a story, an adventure, but I kind of view this as like a picture book. I'm not really sure like why this is even here. It feels really irrelevant, and then once I started it, I couldn't get out, so I had to really click through everything. Feels like they were just trying to cram some stuff in here so that they could put a few more features on the box, when really this thing is like a pedometer / activity tracker for kids. Maybe there's some good sleep functionality in here, but your kid's got to be willing to wear it when they sleep, and then you got to charge it, all that. Since we make a lot of software at Goalie, we're always thinking about what is ease of use like with this thing. Now I'll tell you, in their parent app, it was kind of easy for me to get started, but not totally easy. And what was funny to me is all the screens that fumbled me up, it's like the lawyers put the screens in there. There were probably twice as many compliance screens as I see anywhere else. It was like a healthcare app or something like that. So I got going, I set things up, and then they redirected me to, do you agree to this? Do you agree to that? And I started thinking, what are you hiding, Garmin? Why do I have to sign off on so many things? Is there plutonium in this thing? Like, what's going on? Why do we have to have so many, like, you know, I agree to some fine print stuff? That's a little bit of a pet peeve for me, and they went over the top with this thing. All right, look, here's the thing. This is a cool kid's pedometer. If your kid needs a pedometer, I think this thing's just fine. It's a little pricey. I don't know that they need the screen, but maybe your kid's gonna really love the screen, so I'm not opposed to it, but I wouldn't get it for anything else. You got a kid that maybe sitting on the sofa a little too much, and you need a little motivation to get them outside and move around a little bit and get a little bit of accountability on them. This is gonna be a good device for you. It's gonna be reliable, it's gonna work, the battery's pretty good. Is it gonna do the other stuff? Yeah, it'll do it okay. But you know, it's not the perfect device for any of that. And they're really right at the price point where you might just want to get a smartwatch with Apple. How do I score this thing? I'm gonna give it a B. It does the primary thing that it needs to do well. Track steps, it'll vibrate to wake you up, the battery's okay, you know, it gives you some basic stats on the screen. If you're looking for a whole lot more than that, I don't know that I would get this. I would probably end up with an Apple smartwatch or a dedicated device like a GeoBit to just track location. If the problem you're solving is your kid needs a cool tablet, you should check out Goalie. GetGoalie.com. These are tablets without any of the toxic junk and all the good stuff that you actually want for your kids.